Hello, my name is Mercury, and welcome to this brand new episode of Media Fae. Today, I am alone, and today I'll be discussing Beetlejuice Beetlejuice, the sequel to the original Beetlejuice, and I already saw him. So he's probably gonna show up in this episode. I'm kidding now. But yeah, and also, this movie is a continuation, not a continuation, it's a sequel to the classic that came out in the 80s. I forgot when it was, maybe 1988, I think was the last one. And I did watch the first one before watching this one. And I will talk about that one later. That'll be way later, but we'll talk about that, and when we talk about Beetlejuice, that'll be one of the oldest things we ever covered on the podcast, because it's 1988. So yeah, that'll be one of the oldest things we'd ever cover on the podcast. So that's exciting. But this is a movie I wanted to cover because I made myself a promise I would cover every new thing that I watched. It doesn't mean just like, oh, it's like this new thing was coming out and I have to watch. It's like, no, it's more like I want to watch everything I watch after, and I want to review everything I watch, just to get like my thoughts on it and what I think about it. Not really everything, but definitely like things I want to watch and go out of my way to see. So yeah, that's why that's why I'm reviewing this movie. I'm doing this alone. I thought I'd get more people in here, but whatever. It's fine. I'll go through it alone. To be honest, I don't know how long this episode will be. I don't have much to really say about this movie. This movie's pretty short, all things considered. So yeah, let's just get straight into it with the CGI. There's not a lot of action here, so let's just go straight. We're gonna go straight into CGI. One of the things that people have to really realize about this movie is that it's made to be sort of like 80s campy sort of thing. Like, it's not meant to be taken that seriously. Which, I appreciate. We need more of those movies. So, and the thing is, like, with that CGI, is that it does look like 80s CGI, but I feel like that adds to anything. Like, give me a second. It is 7 a.m. It's almost 8 a.m. When I'm recording this. So yeah. I think that it adds to the movie. It doesn't really subtract to it. It's more for charm's sake, because Beetlejuice is a very like 80s movie, and there's a lot of things here that really do reference that film. But it doesn't try to really like get out of its way and do better CGI. It just looks like 80s CGI, but not in a bad way. I would say it looks like as if they made it as if like 80s like CGI and just special effects in general, just like done better. Like they don't look like out of place and all that. That's what I thought of the CGI. Like, and it looked, it looked serviceable. It looks fine, and to be honest, I think it looked good because it just played with what like the 80s stuff of Beetlejuice was about. So yeah, that's what I think about CGI. We're gonna move on to the characters. So first up is Lydia, which is again played by Winona Ryder, and very drastic change here. She has a daughter now, and what was it again? her father is dead, and then Delia dies too. Okay. So yeah, no, like there's a lot of interesting stuff here. Very big time skip from 1988 to 2024. That's when I think this is this is taking place. So yeah, no, we see that she's a television star now and all, and she has like a new boyfriend slash fiance. But you know, I think what they do with Lydia is interesting, but I feel like her character really just suffers from the overbearance of what the plot is trying to do. I will get into the plot later, but I feel like Lydia and Astrid, really, but I'll get into Astrid later, both suffer from the fact that their character is kind of split apart by the plot. I think what they did, I think what they had, like a material they had for Lydia was interesting enough, but I feel like the movie really just didn't have the time or the real just like writing capabilities to really do that with like the film that they got and the film that they released. So I feel like Lydia's character suffered a little bit there, with just having her be a fucking just like having her be uh you just like yeah no having her be like just having so much stuff and having her with the fiance stuff with the dead husband stuff, and also with the Beetlejuice stuff. Like, there's just a lot of things. Oh yeah, and Astrid's entire relationship. Like, some of those things do tie together, but some of them don't, and we'll get into that later. But yeah, no, I think. I think her character suffered a little bit from just having too much stuff going on in the movie, and you couldn't like they're all fine enough ideas, and you can definitely flesh them out. But the thing is that it didn't flesh them out because of how much stuff fits in the movie. So yeah, let's get into one of the new characters of the movie, Astrid, Lydia's daughter. So Astrid had a lot of stuff in the movie too. She had like the relationship with the serial killer boy year. I don't know. Yeah. Then there's the plot with again her mother and her deceased father and all that. And I feel like she had a little less, but it was still quite a bit, and still really didn't tie into the big narrative that I thought they were going to go in. But I feel like Astrid's character is fine enough. I think she has interesting like foundations as a character. But and oh yeah, and the stepfather stuff that we get into there, just I don't know. I feel like Astrid again like suffer from the plot and all that. I feel like there's some little characters. There are not a lot of characters that really okay. There are not a lot of characters that didn't suffer from the plot. There are characters that suffered less than others, but there are characters that also just really just had their characters like butchered by the narrative and when they try to do the narrative, which is just really sad. I feel like because I just feel like they were good ideas and they were good stuff, and what I liked about the movie is that they really explored the world, but they kind of came at a cost. So yeah, no, I think Astrid's character is fun. I think she had like fine characterization. and honestly, like it was just like good. It was a good character, but I feel like she could have been handled better. There's some other characters here that I do like kind of want to touch upon a little. Delia is another one. I think Delia is fine. This is one of the characters I was talking about that is like hampered less by the plot and can really do more because she's just like there and she does a lot of stuff, a lot of different stuff, and she gets into the plot a little late. She gets killed. I was very surprised at that decision, but she gets killed, and like doesn't really tie into anything. But she got her own subplot, and again, that's part of the problem. But I feel like her just kind of having that and having this like subplot about like her husband, like her husband dying and all that, and going into this going into this sort of like it's like what do you call it, like trying to like capture its like death and like get the experience around it, like the grief around death and all that. That would be interesting. I feel like it doesn't tie into anything here, and yeah, no. But I feel like Delia's like a fine enough character in the foundation there, and I think it was executed well. It's just that it doesn't really fit it doesn't really fit with the rest of the movie. But you know, there's good stuff here, and the next character, Rory. So Rory is the boyfriend and would be fiance. Is the fiance, would be husband of Lydia. Not the father of Astrid, though. But I think they went in a direction I didn't think they would go with for this character. So I thought they would just go like, oh, he's just like, kind of nice, but no, he's actually kind of a douchebag. And I kind of and that's not a direction I thought they would go in, but that was kind of, I feel like that was a well thought, like, that would have been a decision that I feel like could have worked if they just kind of explored it a little bit more. Like they didn't go they didn't go all in for that, and instead decided to really play around with it and show it throughout the movie that maybe he doesn't really care about like Lydia's like actual like life and all. He's just marrying her for money. I feel like that would have been really interesting to see, but that didn't happen, and you know, that's just how it is. It didn't happen, and you know, but I feel like Rory's character was really just there, not like there, but like he had an interesting part in the narrative, but I feel like it could have been better written. A character that I think also I think is actually the best written character in the movie, and not just because he's funny, but he is funny, but also because his plot is the only one that's actually coherent, is Beetlejuice. So Beetlejuice, you know, the guy who what the movie's named about, kind of actually has like plot relevance here. It doesn't really show up for like the last. It doesn't show up for like the last minute, for the last like few things, and does things around the movie, like, you know, all across the movie instead of just like at the finale. So, what I think, so Beetlejuice, I feel like has an interesting characterization. I feel like it's interesting enough with his wife, his old wife from the fucking eons ago coming back, and trying to fuck up his life, and then he goes off and tries to find Lydia so he can marry her, so he can get out of the curse, and that's, I feel like that's better because it goes around the movie, and what he does ties into the other narratives where Beetlejuice helps out Lydia finding Astrid in the afterlife. Beetlejuice helps Lydia get rid of Rory. Like, his character in this movie actually ties into the other narratives, but like that's more of an add-on, and the thing is with his characters that his main plot just kind of like almost goes nowhere. And I feel like it's mostly just kind of there, never really explored aside from like the really weird things that go on. But yeah, no, like I think I think it'll be fine. No, wait, what? No, I think that Beetlejuice was like the best character here. What the fuck? Get out of there. I feel like he was the best written character here, but that's mostly because of, like by default, because he actually, the narrative really revolved around him. But that really doesn't uh doesn't really like, I don't know, like it's like, yeah, it's by default, because he like it all just like revolves around him pretty much. So yeah, that was that was Beetlejuice, and that was like the last character we have to talk about. The other character I want to talk about is some other characters. I want well, they were Charles Dietz was interesting, so I don't know if you guys know, but the actor for Charles Dietz got into some trouble a few years ago, not a few years ago, but definitely quite a bit ago. He got into some trouble, so yeah, they couldn't bring. He's still alive, but they wouldn't bring him back, understandably, for like, you know, what he did. So yeah, I think a smart choice, and what they did with the character was interesting enough here, running like a journey throughout the afterlife, and I feel like it's kind of funny to know that Tim Burton based off like Charles Dietz's death after a dream he had, which is really weird, but honestly, yeah, I think. I think I think it's like a dream. It's like a wild dream somebody would have, and that's fine. I think that's fun. I think that's kind of funny, like how they handled the movie. This movie's a comedy, like obviously, but you know, like it's definitely like it's there, and I do kind of appreciate it, and I do like that. But yeah, I think they handled the character in a very like, smart way, and made him like kind of part of the plot, semi part of the plot. We'll get into that later. Another thing I want to talk about is Beetlejuice's uh wife, Dolores, and so this character, I feel like they had something interesting to go with, but then they doesn't really do anything, doesn't really show up, and really isn't a menace. It's mostly on Beetlejuice's part, but the thing is, like, we don't like. It's never really like she's haunting him or whatever. Like she shows up periodically throughout the movie to like do some stuff here and there, and not, it doesn't really like do much. But she's just kind of there, and I feel like we could have had a lot more interesting scenes of her, but we didn't. Another character I want to talk about is William Dafoe's character, Wolf Jackson. I feel like he's funny. He's actually, I feel like, really funny, and I liked them, and I liked I liked how it showed that he died and all that. That's funny. So yeah, let's move on to the plot of the movie. Something I want to mention about the plot, and something I gotta mention this. Everything gets solved way too quickly at the end. So, and really not at the end, just like everything. So, for example, like I mentioned them all, but it's mostly about Beetlejuice, and Beetlejuice gets tied in with like Astrid's and Lydia's plot when Astrid gets into the afterlife and gets trapped there by what was it? By Jeremy Fraser, the boy, the dead boy, and he like basically that's like a big plot there's a big plot point of why these characters are in the afterlife now, and why they find like, the father, and why they get back, and all that to get to Beetlejuice, or not to get to whatever the fuck they were getting at. I don't even remember. Oh yeah, to get to the wedding, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, fuck. Okay. So yeah, I think, but you know, everything gets solved too quickly. What and like okay, what I was getting at that the like that happens like it's like the soul train and whatever, and Peter just like sends him away, and that's it. Like it's a big build up to like just having him go away and never mentioned ever again. And the thing is with like the wife stuff, and that it doesn't really feel it doesn't really it didn't even get solved quickly, but it gets solved way too quickly. Like it feels like it gets solved quickly because the wife, all this build up, shows up at the end and gets like beaten in 30 seconds. I'm not expecting a big action sequence, but I'm expecting a little bit more of a, you know, I'm expecting a little bit more than what we got. Um. So yeah, no, and in like it really that scene at the end just like gets everything wrapped, just tries to wrap up every idea that they had for the movie. It quickly out of nowhere, like the Rory stuff, I've appreciated, but again, I I feel like we just needed. Like they just needed more time for the movie. But yeah, everything is just solved at the end and just tries to wrap it up. So yeah, like that's why I think it's suffering. There's a lot of stuff here that they try to like they do, and it's like just too much. There is too many subplot in the movie. We have the one with like Charles Dietz, the one with Lydia, the wedding plot, the plot with the with Astrid and the dead and the dead and what's his name again? Jeremy Fraser, the undead boy, teenager. Then we have the plot with Dolores and Beetlejuice. Then we have Delia's plot, and it's like there's just so much, and I feel like it could have worked. I feel like this amount of things could have worked for this movie, but it just didn't have enough time. This movie's an hour and 44. Like it's serviceable enough. Like it's a pretty like fine enough time. But the thing is, like they try to do too much. It almost feels like they had so many movies, and I'm looking at it here. They had so many movies that they want to do for Beetlejuice, a Beetlejuice sequel. They had this since the '90s. They wanted to do a Beetlejuice sequel. So yeah, no, I feel. Yeah, I just feel like they had a lot of stuff. It feels like they just tried to like mismatch a lot of the different things that they had for all the different movies, and just send it out there to have like a movie, to have like a Beetlejuice sequel, just because they want to do one. But you know, I feel like it's just too much. There's not enough time to really flesh them out, and there's not enough time to, you know, there wasn't enough time to actually talk about them and really really like dwell and flesh out. It's just it didn't work. But I feel like the movie was still enjoyable. I feel like the movie had a lot of cool stuff. I like that we saw more of the like the dead world or the undead world. No, it's a dead world. Of like the dead world, and we saw like the Soul Train was in there. Like, in the first movie, we saw a lot more stuff there. It was only like hinted at in the first one because we had a perspective with the Mayfields, which aren't in the movie. So, oh wait, yeah, no, the fucking ending is so weird. I, yeah, I'll get into the ending later, but so basically, I feel like they had all that cool stuff here, and I feel like a lot of the characters were written well, but and with like the world building and all that, I think that's really cool. And they really just went all campy with it, and I'm fine with that. Like I don't mind it. But I just feel like we needed like more time for this, and also I was getting to the ending. The ending is so weird. Like they like time skip a little, and like Asha's having a daughter, but there's not like enough time. And that was all like a dream in Lydia's head. And then Beetlejuice, like, she wakes up once, and then she wakes up again, and Beetlejuice is there. So like, you know, like it's a weird ending, and I didn't know what I was fucking watching when I was watching the movie. I forgot about the ending, but now I remember it. I remember the ending. So yeah, it's about the next one is the future. So are we going to get a Beetlejuice, or a Beetlejuice 3, or they should just call it like I don't know, like fucking Beetlejuice Beetlejuice times 3 or something. I don't fucking know. Just like call it anything. Oops, sure. So you know, I feel like there could be. I feel like there could be a third film. Maybe they're not going to do a third film. Tim Burton says that he doesn't think so. And because it took 35 years to actually get, and everybody was talking about like it took 35 years to actually get the film to come out, like this movie to come out. They wanted to do one for a really long time. So they don't know if they will be doing a sequel. I feel like they're probably going to, because the movie's such a big success. It's not like it's the 10th highest grossing movie of 2024, but like by comparison to the last movie, let's just 1988 to 2024 inflation. What was the amount again? 86.6, 84.6. Or I guess like 84 0 0 0 0 0 0. So okay, so adjusted for inflation, the first movie made. Shit, that's not right. There we go. Adjusted for inflation, the first movie made. Well, not just for the actual amount was 84.6 million, but the inflation amount, like the amount that it would have made today, would be $225 million. 225.4 to be precise. And this movie made double that, almost double that. So I feel like we could get it. It has a higher budget, obviously. But I feel like. But I feel like there could be room for a sequel here, mainly because it was such a big success and it made even more money than the last one, even with inflation, like accounting for inflation. So I feel like we could get a sequel, but I don't know if it's gonna be any point. It's gonna be at like any point before like anything, like before like really like I don't know if it's gonna be a few years from now. Maybe we'll never see it. I don't know. I feel like we couldn't do without a sequel, but I feel like there's room for one. And would I watch it? I mean, maybe, but I mean, definitely, maybe. But yeah, no, I feel like this movie maybe could use maybe could get a sequel. I don't know if it will, but maybe it could get it. So thoughts about the movie? Just running it all. I feel like this movie is good. It's an entertaining movie, but I feel like it had too much stuff going on that really messed with the narrative and really prevented it from becoming a better movie, probably a smash hit success, because it's just good, entertaining. It's funny, like I like it, but it's not as good as it could have been. It just needed a little bit of cutting, just a little bit more time to really flesh out stuff here and there. And I feel like we could have gotten a really good movie. So as far as like legacy sequels go, it's not that bad. I do recommend it if you want like a good time in the theaters. So yeah, my ranking for this movie is the B tier. Again, just good. It's not okay. It's not like, it's not great either. It's not bad. It's just okay. Not okay. It's good. It's a good movie. So yeah. What did you guys think about Beetlejuice Beetlejuice? Leave in the comments below. All of our socials are in the description, except one because Elon sucked my balls. And yeah, no, that's about it. See ya.